the government's proposing changes to the Resource Management Act. We have heard about this for quite some time now because it is a very, very big and involved piece of legislation. From building to water to farming, it's a beast. But we're going to concentrate on the growing side of the Resource Management Act with my next interview. It could make life a lot easier for those growing the country's greens. One of the key aims, making vegetables growing a permitted activity, cutting through the red tape that's been frustrating growers, especially in places like Horowhenua and North Waikato. Growers including Horticulture NZ and Vegetables NZ say the reforms are a clear signal that fresh, healthy food should be a priority and growers who use good environmental practices should be supported. Not bogged down in legal battles. The changes would give councils more flexibility, simplify fertiliser rules, make crop rotation easier, and help with water access and storage, all crucial for keeping those veggies coming. Federated Farmers is also backing the move. They say the old rules were unworkable and hope that the new approach will balance environmental goals with the needs of farmers and communities. So it seems the changes are getting the thumbs up. Or shall I say the green fingers? Joining me now is John Murphy, Chair of Vegetables New Zealand. John, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hey, thanks for your time, John. There seems to be overwhelming support from the horticulture industry about these changes to the RMA. What kind of red tape or confusion have growers like yourself been dealing with?
Oh, it's been pretty disastrous for some of our growers, actually, because we need to be concentrating on looking at our operations and what we can do better to provide fresh, healthy vegetables on an ongoing basis for New Zealanders. And when you're looking at the prospect of being in the environmental court for months and months, if not years, because there is no path to getting consent, then it's pretty dispiriting and certainly isn't an environment where you can invest in doing things better. So we've got real optimism around these proposals and we think they're sensible because ultimately with the industry systems we have in place, we think it only makes sense that if growers have a fresh water farm plan and so are looking after the environment, that we should be able to get on with it and grow fresh, healthy food for New Zealanders.
So the idea of making vegetable growing a permitted activity, what does that actually mean, John, in practice for the average person listening? What do you mean being a permitted activity?
What we mean is that if we operate to the standards that we've got, those industry standards that are in place and that we're developing all the time, that we can actually go out and farm. And it means that the people who are on the land can actually take practical steps to look after the environment. And so it becomes more than a tick box exercise, which is absolutely fraught. And so what we've seen over the last few years is that many of our growers have had to operate outside consent. So they haven't actually had consent to farm. Oh. And no one wants to do that. And regional authorities are aware of this. And so you're in this weird situation where no one wants to bring prosecutions against people who are actually doing the right thing for the community, which our growers are. So we want to focus on what we can do to actually look after the show and provide for our people. So this basically takes away regulations that aren't actually doing anything to improve anything for anyone.
Right. So more of a permitted activity instead of a resource consent.
Correct. That's right.
Right. So less red
tape. And look, we're basically saying if we have the systems in place, which we have, so we've got a thing called New Zealand GAP, so Good Agricultural Practices, that we operate under as growers, and that shows that we are doing things in the right way. And we're saying if we've got that, you need to back us to get out there and do the work.
How bigger of a deal, John, is simplifying the rules around things like crop rotation and water storage? I mean, is that a game changer?
Absolutely. So without, and a good part of this, of the government announcement dealt with highly productive land, and
Yeah.
that's a really key issue. For our land to be productive, we need water, and we need that permitted activity. We also need energy and proximity to markets and a range of other things. Without them, we can't do what we do. But the changing crops and our rotation principles are actually absolutely fundamental to us growing our crops well, and actually to looking after our soils and our land.
Right. Some of these proposals, you've mentioned water a few times, John, they touch on wetlands and water access, I gather. What's the balance there between protecting the environment and getting on with growing food?
Look, protecting the environment is absolutely essential for our growers as well. And ultimately, one of our key principles is to be good custodians of the land. And you'll note that many of our growers are from intergenerational businesses that, and our families. We want to be able to pass these things on to the next generation as well. So that's really key for us. It's really important for us to have the right kind of water to put on. So it needs to be high quality. So we've got a real vested interest to get that right.
What's regional flexibility? Can we talk about why that's so important in context of farming and growing?
Yeah, well, that's where we need a network of growers across the country to provide for our people as well. And so if you look at where the best vegetables are grown, it tends to be on a region-by-region basis, and that's why you get pockets of fantastic vegetables coming out of the likes of Pukekohe and Horowhenua and other places as well. That becomes even more important when you have seasonal events, the likes of Cyclone Gabriel, which was obviously dramatic for all of us, where you have a particular area knocked out of production as well. So it's really important that we do get that right across our regions. Ultimately, I think that we want to make sure that growers can make good, sound commercial decisions so that they can stay in business if they have those environmental standards seen to. And that's why we have those standards in place, which we've been working on for more than 30 years.
Right.
And there's work going on all the time. And there's actually some really exciting things coming down the pipeline in terms of how we manage our soils as well.
So I hearing that, in the past, before the government decided to look at these changes with the RMA, it has been difficult because we talk about red tape, but there was obviously so much involved regarding the use of the water and the land, and the farmers, vegetable growers had almost too many hoops to jump through. Would that be right?